welcome back to the 123 project. So basically here's the deal, Sam Detailing took over a growing business which comes with problems that I needed to fix and sort out and took up a lot of my time. So this went on the back burner and then show season came around, kind of got busy with that. But we are back and we're making progress on this now. So what have I done since you last saw? Well, let's take a wander around. Doors came off, interior trim came out, filled. You know what, it's been that long, I can't remember what happened on the last video. I don't think this was primed, no, it was slightly primed. So I properly primed the rear, boot lids primed. I decided to just paint the entire back half of the car. The plan is to just paint the entire block because I wasn't so sure what to do about the boot and all of that, and there was a bit of rust on the boot, so I fixed that as well. So basically we are in a position where we are ready to paint. The front wing I mounted onto the car, made sure it fits okay. It's not perfect fitting, but it mounts okay. We'll do the final fitting once it's painted and it's been wiggled into place. Yeah, so now it's just a case of a bit more sanding, prep this wing, and let's get it painted. So first things first, get it off the car. So straight off the bat, I went ahead and applied primer to the bare metal, which was a complete mistake because I didn't key the surface. The primer did not bond to the panel properly, so I had to sand it all off and start again. So generally I found the best ratio was 60 to 40 thinner to cellulose paint. I found this gave me the optimum gloss level I wanted. It's going really well. The paint is going onto the panel really nicely, nice and glossy. I think I'm going to do like 3 or 4 coats of cellulose, and then all being well, actually to be honest with you, I can see a bit of dirt on the panel, specks of dirt, so we will have to wet sand and polish it back up, but that's not an issue. All going well with this panel. I'm going to be really happy and just push on forward and paint the rest of the car. It's actually going really well. I'm happy so far. So after masking and taping off the car, it was just simply a case of sanding all the bits I had missed and priming those areas. have masked up the car. It's primed. I've primed the door shuts and I've hidden pretty much all the tape lines under where the trim would go. Just seems a bit easier and safer that way. And so yeah, we're pretty much ready to lay down the paint on this 123. It's just assembly afterwards, I'm hoping. It should be pretty smooth, I think. Headlights, trim inside the car, all that stuff. What?
Question.
Yes.
How do you put it back together?
By natural skill and re-watching parts 1 and 2 on YouTube. Okay, so we've put down the paint on the wing. There were some like dust marks, little dots, little blister things. Wet sanded it, managed to get them out, so that's all good. I'm gonna finish off the wet sanding and polishing on the car because it's just so much easier to do it attached to the Merc. So the next stage is to paint the rear half of the car. Time to do the big job. So I went and got some more paint, consuming like 2-3 litres of paint, so I had to get more. So yeah, let's just get on and paint this thing. So my general process for laying down the paint was to initially put down a mist coat, and then I followed up with 4 or 5 layers, getting thicker and thicker each time, increasing that level of gloss. As you can see, as I was laying down the paint, there were some dots and little specks. I wasn't too concerned at this point, as I did know that I could wet sand and flatten out any dirt that had managed to get through into the paint. basically I went a bit too heavy with the paint on the back, and it started to run relatively badly. But actually, to be honest with you, no, it's bad. It's not bad, but it's annoying. I'm gonna just have to. I assume cellulose is very similar to normal lacquer, where you can just wet sand it, flatten it. I'm just gonna have to sand this lacquer down. Not lacquer, cellulose paint now. So it's a bit of wet sanding on the back. But to be honest with you, it's actually evening. No, it's not. What am I talking? Well, it's dripping down. You can see. Look how badly it's dripping. I've gone so heavy. But to be honest with you, I'm hoping it brings it down here so I can just flatten off. It shouldn't be too hard to flatten these bits off. At least I know I've got a nice thick coat to work with, but I knew I was too close, man, and I knew it. I was like, this is risky, as I was spraying it, and I just went for it. Not a smart idea to do. But, never mind. Finishing off painting this, and then let it dry. Leave it for a couple of days to dry, and then I'm going to wet sand the entire thing. Okay, so I'm a bit less depressed. The paint ones I can fix with wet sanding, I know that. To be honest with you, all of it I can fix with wet sanding. So now it's a case of peeling away all the film, masking tape, and I'm scared of this bit because I know poor masking leads to a lot of issues. So let's just peel away and see what we got. Don't forget, can I speak to the camera again? Can I speak? Can we all keep in mind that all the paint lines, all of that is hidden under trim? That's why I've masked it in this particular way. So there will be differences. I know it's not proper, don't troll. It's like when I did the wheels. No, seriously though, a lot of these issues will be hidden. I know there will be issues.
Is he doing a disclaimer to cover up his bad work?
It's not bad work, it will be hidden under trim. You won't be able to see the issues.
If you want to troll, do it.
What I've done is here is massively risky. That's the original colour, taped it up, and I'm going to try and, because it's under the hood, I'm going to try and blend that into that, because I didn't want to paint this new red paint and then it was getting lost here. I didn't know where to cut it off, it would be too obvious, so I decided to keep all the inner original and put new paint here, and hopefully under the hood kind of lose it. So let's find out if it actually worked. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, so I'll polish this up and we won't really be able to tell there's two different shades of red really. Let's get rid of this. Right, so that's okay, it's chipped a bit there, but it's not too much of an issue because the headlight sits here and there's like another rubber trim that sits here, something like that. So not too much of an issue. I've got the wing on, just need to bolt that in and get it properly fitted so it lines up nicely with the bonnet. Got to get the rear 2 doors on, get the rear trim sorted, and then just wet sand those ones. I think that should be pretty straightforward. Soft cellulose paint. Cellulose paint is really, really forgiving. So yeah, once that's all bolted, fitted, get it running-ish, get it polished up, and hopefully get it to Manchester for Fitted UK, which is happening in 4 or 5 days, of which I'm not here for one of the days, so 3 days really. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're gonna get this sorted. Easy. In hindsight, easy is probably not the word I would use to describe day 4. But okay, here's the latest situation. So after painting, it's becoming quite a bit apparent that my prep work wasn't the best. I'm not really happy with it. It's really bad. Not really, really bad, but it's pretty bad, and I'm quite annoyed about it. And I don't think it's got nothing to do with like I tried to rush it or anything. I think it's just down to purely skill. And like you can watch this stuff on YouTube, but YouTube doesn't teach you how to feel it and how to really prep it like experience would. And so I think the lack of experience is shown through how crap this has come out a bit. But nevertheless, a lot of it's fixable. So here's my plan. First things first, this is all rough and not great. So I did a little test pot and I wet sanded it and polished it, and it came up brilliantly, perfectly. So my plan is to wet sand everything I've painted, flatten it right down, polish it back up so it looks brilliant. My plan in the very near future is to redo this again, sand it down, refill it and make it perfect, because this, you can really see where I've done like poor filling work and it hasn't sanded properly, and it's really just highlighting it and it's really pissing me off. It's not to the standard I want, it's not what I'd expect myself to achieve. This is really annoying. So my plan in the very near future is to re-sand and refix this on both sides. On both sides is pretty nifty. Not nifty, shit. So yeah, let's do this.
It's not that bad.
No, it is really shit. So I was struggling to get the results I wanted from the orbital polisher, and I decided to use the same graded wet sandpaper and block it by hand, which I was seeing better results from. To date. Removing drips out of paintwork is quite difficult. That's it really. I've tried to wet sand this one and I went through the paintwork twice. Removing the drips is really hard. This one I'm leaving, keep in mind there's like a black trim that goes along here, so I'm just gonna hide the drips behind the trim because I'm doing more damage than good at this moment. I managed to take this one down a bit, but I did that by dry sanding, not wet sanding, which kind of helped a bit more, but still very difficult. So you know what, my advice is don't get runs in your paintwork because this is so difficult. We're getting there. This is a lot more time consuming than I thought. I thought it'd just be a case of wet sanding and polishing it, but it's not. This is just so much more involved. I'm very, very depressed. Come day 5, I decided to keep on tackling the wet sanding by hand. This was giving me the best results I was looking for, and yes, it was a slow process, but it was definitely improving the paintwork. Okay, so here's what we have learned. You know, I was showing you the fuzzy paintwork. It turns out you don't need to wet sand that. You can just get, I'm using Body Shop Compound for Regular G3, or G360, the new one. And to be honest with you, I think that's so harsh, it's ripping off the fuzziness anyway. So I've just done a test piece on this corner without wet sanding. The compound just ripped through the fuzziness, and so I've just saved myself a load of time. So now it's just a case of just polishing this back end. Don't even need to wet sand it. A bit annoyed that I did all that wet sanding and slightly damaged this compound for no reason. But you know, things happen. It was in.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Where's the tilt to the door and it came out?
I didn't tell anything. I was keeping it up.
Once the rear doors were fitted, I decided to get the wing back on, and because I had pre-fitted the wing before painting it, I knew exactly how to make it fit nice and flush. Fitting this front chrome trim turned out to be an absolute nightmare. I just could not get it to clip in to the red bungs into the wing. I eventually had to remove the bungs, and then I generally found the best way to fit it was by getting those red bungs and fitting onto the trim first, and then from the trim onto the car. We have a bit of a problem. On the original panel there was a 5 or 6 mil hole here, which is that the I've gone and lost the bolt. Is that the bolt? That is the bolt. Sorry. Okay, let's start again. On the original panel there was a 5 or 6 mil hole where this would fit on and then this would bolt it on from the back, from the inside. I did make a note of where that hole was on the panel, but I don't know where that is. So I'm going to have to drill a hole, but I don't know where to drill. So we need to find a way to get this fitted onto there. It's not looking good.
It's not looking good, bro.
So this is the situation. Yesterday we had to pace through putting the car back together because we got fitted tomorrow and didn't want to spend the last day putting the bulk of it back together. So I just went through with it and managed to get it on relatively smoothly, all the trims and everything back. So in the evening I made sure the car was running. There's still a leak from the radiator, but it's not too big to be honest. And I managed to get it to start up so it's running smoothly. So yeah, everything's gone quite well, surprisingly, and we are very much on time to take this car to Fitted UK, which is based in Manchester. So yeah, gonna take this there. Lots and lots of people asking what's going on with the motor, so this will be a good chance for everyone to see what's happened. Am I happy? Not really, no. I think the paintwork's pretty bad, and I think the prep work was pretty bad. I'm not really happy with myself. I think I've let myself down a little bit there. However, this is just part of the learning curve. You know, you can buy the car, give it to a body shop, there's £20,000, and then you've got yourself a show car. Fuck that shit. You gotta do this stuff to fall in love with your car. What's the point in giving it to someone else to do all the work? This is the fun part. So yeah, really, now it's just a case of just prepping it for the show like I would any other car. So I'm going to polish the paintwork, go over it, make sure it looks nice and clean and pretty, and then we'll get it onto the recovery truck and take it off to Manchester tomorrow morning. So let's get this car ready for the show. So that is it, the W123 is finally finished and it looks so much better. Yeah, the paint match isn't perfect, but you know, it really wasn't gonna be. It's a 42-year-old car, and without painting the entire car, you can't really get it bang on. But it is so much better not having all that rust on the rear quarters, the boot basically having a hole in it, and the front wing chipping. So I'm really happy with how it's come out. I will probably readdress the rear quarters, but let's see what happens. Keep this factual. The Merc is at fitted. Right, so we are officially at Fitted UK. The Merc has made it. Merc's made it. I still can't believe we got that built up in 1 week. Just be patting myself on the back. But yeah, come on, we need to unload the van and get all this set up because we need to be out of here in literally 1 hour. They'd say all vans need to be out at 12. So let's get this all loaded up. You'll see what it looks like in a minute, but it's hot shit.